fire to all. Today, we go on talking about the third point that is the most important. If you ignore it, the sensations connected with fire energy receiving are gone. In previous videos, we learned that there are 3 basic points which we cannot ignore. The first one is something we should do constantly, every day, during a long period of time, maybe a year or more. It is a phantom practice, the phantom hugs practice. We have discussed it in previous videos. You can watch it. So the first one is phantom hugs with the living and the deceased. The more you use this practice, the better and faster fire can enter you. It is very important because karma is our blocks and clenches. I want you to understand it. Then there is the second point. We have learned it too, the expansion of the list of the deceased. Because when we expand the list of the deceased, there is a high possibility that we will cleanse our own karma from the previous lives. I want you to understand this important point. And the third point, which is very delicate and maybe the scariest for everybody, because we are used to fear demonic structures. It is acquaintance, friendship, feeding your demon with energy, fire energy. You know, it is a kind of love between you and your demon that later will grow into something beautiful. As I have already said, any of you is able to transform your demon into your angel within 3 months. If you receive fire energy 2 times a day, and if you do these 3 basic things, which are absolutely necessary to do, otherwise it will be impossible to move further, because they are the basic things. They are the tools with the help of which you will later learn. You will be able to do such thing as, say, sorting out your thoughts. It is very important to understand that everything should be done step by step. Remember, we discussed the home of the soul, and in this home we have matrix cells, which we need to fill with basic knowledge first, or we won't be able to expand further. And here we have exactly the same thing. We should learn how to communicate with essences, with demons in the first place, and only after that we will be able to get to the next stage of our development. We will do it all step by step. I have already told you that we have 4 years, and these 4 years are dedicated to different practices. So, what do we need to do with our demons? The main thing that you should realize for yourselves is that the demons will reflect you. If you treat them wrong, they will do the same towards you. If you love them, they will love you. You should understand that they reflect you. The demon is just your mirror. It is your own reflection in the mirror. The demon reflects you in everything. This is why a very important thing to do is for you to get rid of all the fears that were generated in us by those who was telling us during many centuries that demons are very scary creatures.
Связанные с тем, что кто-то нам на протяжении многих сотен лет внушал то, что демоны — это очень страшные создания.
They will be scary only for those who wage a war against them, and they won't scare those who are friends with them and who give them love and endless source of energy, which transforms demons, in the same manner it transforms you. There is no difference.
Трансформирует вас. Разницы нет никакой.
And it is interesting that when you don't have sensations during fire energy receiving, it is demons who take away this energy from you, because you don't communicate with them, you don't feed them personally.
Отбирают у вас эту энергию, потому что вы с ними не взаимодействуете, да? Вы их не кормите отдельно.
And it is important to know that if you have a very good communication with your demon or demons or evil spirits of different kinds,
С вашими демонами, бесами, там, и различного рода.
they have hierarchy, we will talk about it later. Now we should just understand how to feed them, how to make friends with them, and how to get to know them in the first place. Therefore, you should understand that you mustn't be afraid of them. You should love them and make friends with them, because otherwise they will take fire energy from you. Remember, we talked about collective meditations.
К теме коллективных медитаций.
Why the energies are stolen there? It's because it is demons who take the energy instead of people.
Получал сам энергию, у него просто энергию отбирает тот же демон.
This is what I am talking about. It may look contradictory, but it is true. In other words, if you want to receive any energy, you need to make your demon well fed, satisfied and happy first, and after that the energy will get to you. Otherwise it won't work. You will just receive fire energy on and on and on, but it will go to your demon instead, and the demon will grow bigger and bigger, and you won't feel any result. That's the thing. You need to understand that the main thing for you is to make friends with this demon so that the demon became your guardian angel.
Подружиться с этим демоном для того, чтобы этот демон стал вашим ангелом-хранителем.
In other words, everything that we are doing here is for learning how to transform our demons, our vices, our evil spirits, and so on.
Наших демонов, наших пороков, бесов и прочих.
We have learned already that any person has a lot of them. It depends on how many vices and sins you have, so to say. This is how many demons you have.
У вас этих демонов.
If you look at a person walking down the street, you know, I see people in a very interesting way. It is like when a child is walking with balloons, and there are about 7 or 8 of them, and you are all just like this child with balloons.
Так же вы ходите. Вот точно так же.
You are just walking, and above you there are a huge number of these demons. This is how it looks. You are just walking, and you have this pack of demons above you, and it is clear right away what addictions you have, so to say. Therefore, you should understand that you have a lot of them. All of them should be well fed. I want to point out that if you, for instance, smoke, and you start feeding the evil spirit of smoking, then you won't want to smoke again. If you like to eat a lot and you will feed the evil spirit of gluttony, you won't want to eat more than you need. This is how it works.
Вот так это работает.
The same thing is with alcoholism and drug addiction. Everything works like this.
Демон
As soon as the demon is full, it stops terrorizing you, and your vices go away, and you don't have to fight your vices.
пороками.
You just accept them, feed your demons and evil spirits, that's all. And you naturally stop craving the things you wanted before.
Желание пропадает делать вот те или иные действия, которые раньше вы производили.
Why did you crave certain things? Because you had a certain evil spirit that controlled you.
Он
It gave you these thoughts and cravings. You craved to smoke, drink alcohol, eat more than you need, and so on. So, how do we get acquainted with them?
поэтому
It is easy.
как
You need to be alone with yourself in some solitary place.
вы остались
You can do it in the street, at home, it doesn't matter.
где-то там
But you need to be alone there.
Неважно где, это не имеет никакого значения, где вы это делаете.
The only thing you should do is to sit somewhere. You know, in fact, evil spirits and demons are afraid of you just in the same manner you are afraid of them, just so you know, because they too don't know what to expect from you. Of course, they know you well, they have lived with you for a long time, but they understand that you have fire generator, and they know that when you switch it on, it will be quite harsh for them, that's the thing. This is why they don't trust you as well.
Не доверяют.
And in order to make them trust you, you will have to work hard. The first thing to do is to get acquainted, of course. There are two ways to do it.
В первую очередь, конечно, познакомиться. Это делается двумя способами.
The first way is as follows. There are two steps. The first thing to do is to find out its name. They will never tell their real names, but you don't need it. You just ask it, "What is your name?" And the first name that comes to your head will be its name.
В голову как бы придет, это будет его имя.
There can be either male or female names. We will talk about it later. Most commonly, they call themselves with an EL ending, like angels. Raphael, Michael.
Ангелы, да? Там Рафаил, Михаил.
So you need to know that there is some strange word with an EL ending.
Должны как бы
This is its name.
у вас там окончание, какое-нибудь непонятное словосочетание, и в конце ил, это он так вот представился.
Or there can be really weird names. It doesn't matter at all.
Какого значения?
Even if its name is Vasya, Petya, you shouldn't care. If you didn't hear the name, give it any name you want, and it will know that you are talking to it. So you should sit and put your palms in front of you.
Ставить перед собой,
If you put your palms like this, it won't touch you, because it will think you can do something with it.
ну мало ли,
They are very cautious too.
да? То есть они тоже осторожничают.
They don't know what to expect from you as well, and you should understand the main reason why they don't know what to expect from you. Demons, I'm talking about demons, they don't know what to expect from you.
Есть
There are two kinds of demons that dwell in people.
наши
Two kinds of demons.
в людях.
By the way, the second one started to appear on Earth not long ago. We will talk about it in further videos.
На Земле, об этом мы поговорим в следующих видео.
But you should understand that there are two kinds of demons. Those are Earth demons that have always lived and will live on planet Earth. They just transform.
Земля просто...
And there are alien demons.
Есть демоны инопланетные.
Part of alien demons, a small part of them, can read your thoughts. You need to know it.
Небольшая часть инопланетных демонов, они умеют читать ваши мысли. Вот. И вы должны это понимать.
And the rest, the majority of them,
Ну, таких, кто читает
those who read thoughts are few, about 5 or 10%.
максимум
And the majority of them cannot do it. They don't have this option.
магического мира, они, ну, то есть они не могут читать ваши мысли. У них нету такой особенности.
Only angels can read your thoughts. Only positive coordinate system can read your thoughts.
Ваши мысли.
And there are several types of alien demons that can do it too, and we will talk about them in further videos.
В дальнейших видео.
So now we are talking about the reason why demons don't know what to expect from you,
Получается, речь идет о
because they cannot read your thoughts.
демоны. Почему не знают, что от вас ожидать? Потому что они не могут читать ваши мысли.
When you communicate with your demon, evil spirit, with your vices, you should understand that they don't know what to expect from you. They don't know what's going on in your head.
Потому что творится в вашей голове, они не знают.
They can only guess by some facial gestures or your actions that you have something on your mind, but they don't know what it is exactly. This is why you should talk to them only aloud. It is a very important point that you need to know about.
Таким параметром, который вы должны понимать.
So you should put your palms not this close and not this far. It should be something in the middle so that they felt calm. Yes, like this.
Так спокойно, чтобы они, ну, вот так вот, да?
So you put your palms like this and ask it by its name, because you have already learned its name, and if you haven't, call it any name you want.
Любое имя,
So you put your palms like this
Вот.
and ask the demon to touch you.
Ставите,
It will be your acquaintance. When you feel warm palms, you know, like animal warmth,
когда-
like when I told you about kinds of energy.
Знаете, вот когда животное теплое, помните, я вам рассказывала, да, про виды энергии?
So the demon has animal kind of warmth, like a horse.
Как вот
The horse is warm,
лошадь тоже, да, она же такая теплая.
so the palms should be warm.
То есть ладошки
And when you feel that it touches you,
чувствуете, что у вас он прям прикоснется к вам.
you know, some people who come to fire receiving prepared
Людей, кто
have a peculiarity that they always have hot feet and palms.
энергии огня, у них получается, что ладошки, то есть получается стопы и ладони, они начинают быть горячими постоянно.
And because you have filled yourself with fire already, you may not feel that the demon touches you. In this case, if your palms are already hot,
Горячие
ask it to touch you on the wrist, like this, right here.
запястья. Вот так. Вот за вот эти места. И
And you will feel this touch. You will feel it.
почувствуете
It will be a very distinctive touch.
мгновение. Вот так.
In the same manner, you can communicate with the deceased, with angels, with demons.
Получается вот,
In fact, this practice is not just for communicating with demons. You can use it to communicate with other creatures too.
демонами, да, это можно этой практикой пользоваться со всеми, вообще с кем вы хотите.
And the more you receive fire energy, the more you develop this practice, and with time you will develop
Больше,
your sight
конечно,
as well.
зрение у вас будет
You will see all these processes and you won't be afraid of it, because you have already learned that with the help of fire energy, nothing will scare you. Fire energy is a strong protection. On the whole, the level of consciousness changes.
когда человек
When you receive fire energy, your level of consciousness changes dramatically.
начинает жить
You start living in an absolutely different world, in a world of images, visions, other gracious things. You will naturally start seeing angels, demons, and so on.
демонов и всех вместе взятых.
But let's get back to our practice.
Вот, вернемся,
How else we can use it? So you put your palms in front of you,
поставили,
and you can work out a system of signs with it.
тему знаков с ним.
Because you have just started, your level of saturation is not yet enough, so that you could see demons, just like people, and talk to them like this.
И видеть.
And you can imagine that, for example, your left palm will mean yes, and your right one will mean no.
Допустим, левая будет ответ да, правая ответ нет.
Or your wrists. You can put your palms like this and communicate like this.
Общаться.
First with the answers like yes and no, and then you can go further and further.
Больше, чем
The more you receive fire energy, the more you feed your demon or demons, evil spirits, and so on, the sooner you will be able to communicate with them.
быстрее вы сможете с ним общаться.
By different means that will come to your head. It will definitely happen with everybody. You will discover an absolutely different new world. That's for sure. Everybody can do it within 2 or 3 months, and your life will change a lot.
Сделать там в течение 2-3 месяцев жизни людей изменится кардинально. Вот так.
So, as soon as you exchange energies with the demon,
Произошел такой
you are acquainted.
взаимообмен.
You should know that by now, besides that, you can,
Вы должны понимать,
on our side, there is a possibility to bring 3 kinds of creatures
что вы можете
to fire receiving practice. There are 3 buttons for it.
заносить, получается, на прием энергии огня 3 вида, там есть таких кнопочек, да?
On one button, there are people. With the second one, we can enter the deceased. And with the third button, we can enter essences.
У каждого
Every person has plenty of essences. On our site, you can enter every essence you can find and enter the number of them.
количество этих сущностей.
And apart from the fact that you invite your essences to fire receiving, you should definitely feed them
Вы должны
additionally twice a day,
их кормить до
so that they don't steal your energy during fire receiving.
энергию во время приема энергии огня.
so that they had enough energy potential to transform. It is our task. Our task is to transform them all.
Какая? Наша задача их просто всех трансформировать.
So you should understand that when you start receiving fire energy, right from that moment you become full.
Вы начинаете принимать энергию огня, прямо с этого же момента вы становитесь полным.
In other words,
Ваши стаканы,
your glasses, we have talked about it, and we will see ourselves as vessels, either full or empty or filled with different kinds of liquids, including dirt and so on.
вкрапления грязи и прочее.
All this we will clean out. So you need to understand that we have these glasses. And when you have received fire, even just one time, you are already able to feed your essence.
Способны накормить вашу сущность.
The energy should always be taken from Anahata.
С
It is heart space.
сердечное пространство.
It is the energy of love. It is the energy that you need to give to your essence,
Энергии вам и нужно
with which you have acquainted
ваша
with the help of your palms.
да, с которой вы
And you should do the following thing.
вот и вы, получается, должны сделать какую вещь.
And you can choose a special place at home,
Знаете, можно
or you can do without any particular place.
выбрать
You can just pass by and remember your essence
пойти
and feed it immediately.
про сущность, да, и сразу покормить.
So you should do the following.
Ставить
You should imagine that you take some energy from your heart space and form it into a ball,
шарик
an energy ball, which you need to bring to a place where you are going to feed the essence.
какое-нибудь там место, в которое вы будете кормить.
You need to imagine
Знаете, да, что
that you are sitting, say, on the sofa,
умно,
and you send these balls
допустим, вы сидите,
to the armchair, for instance.
допустим, а в кресло вы, допустим, отправляете эти шарики. Я условно говорю.
Or you send these balls onto the table or onto the chair, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you should do these balls. What is very important here in our practice is prana tube.
Для нас является очень самым важным
You need to understand well what a prana tube is.
физическим занятием. Это
Underneath this video, there are some articles about prana tube.
точно
You can look down there.
и понимать, что это такое. Я под видео, под этим оставлю несколько статей по поводу трубки праны. Можете посмотреть внизу будет.
Let's talk about prana tube briefly here. There is a writer, Drunvalo Melchizedek.
Но
In my opinion, he describes it brilliantly. He wrote a book named The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life.
Вала Мельхиседек
This book is a must-read for you.
шикарно, на мой взгляд, описывает, что такое трубка праны. У него есть книга «Древняя тайна цветка жизни». Эта книга обязательно для вашего прочтения.
I won't recommend you many books. There will be less than 10 books within these 4 years. But one of them is this one by Drunvalo.
Одна из
You need to read it, The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life.
Вала нужно прочитать именно вот «Древняя тайна цветка жизни».
He also has a book named Living in the Heart. It is very good too, but the main one is The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life. And there he writes in detail what it is. I mean, Drunvalo writes how to use prana tube very extensively, what it is in the first place, and also what Merkaba is.
И вообще, что это такое и что такое Меркаба.
You need to know exactly what Merkaba is,
Как понимаете,
because everybody with no exception will learn how to use it.
все, без исключения.
So please read how he describes it in his book.
Читайте.
Of course, like in any other book, like everywhere, in these books you may find some inaccuracy
Этих,
in this or that information.
ну, некоторые неточности и перевороты различной информации, которая там содержится.
So, I want to draw your attention to the fact that the main thing you should read about there
Книг
is prana tube and Merkaba. These are all recommendations for now.
Запуска Меркава. Все. А больше моих рекомендаций вам пока нет.
You need to understand what prana tube is.
Что такое трубка?
I will explain to you now a very simple thing. There is a figure named Taurus. Or look at an apple,
То есть
what it looks like.
такая фигура Тор, да? То есть яблоко даже наше, да? Яблоко, да? Посмотрите, как выглядит яблоко.
It has a deepening from one side and from the other side. And now imagine that your body,
А ваше
the top of your head, and your tailbone
и ваше
are this deepening in this apple.
вот это углубление вот в этом яблоке.
And you are inside this apple.
А вот
And here are such balls.
шарики, да?
And when you inhale,
Этого вот яблока, да?
the energy comes inside you from two sides at the same time,
Энергия,
both
да?
from the top of your head
Ходит с
and from the tailbone.
одновременно. Из
You inhale
копчика
and you hold your breath for a moment.
вдох. И получается, вы как бы немножечко задерживаете дыхание, можно так сделать,
What for?
для того, чтобы
So that these two kinds of energy, from the top of your head, there comes sky energy, and from the tailbone, there comes earth energy. Or you can call it male and female energies. And both these energies join in together in Anahata when you inhale.
в анахате
Anahata is our generator. It distributes energies.
наш генератор,
And when you exhale,
энергия
you expand your fields. This is about how to use prana tube.
трубкой праны. И на выдохе вы, получается, расширяете свои поля, да?
Let's imagine that your apple was like this when you started to breathe with prana tube.
Прана, да?
You are standing here and the apple is like this. And when you exhale, it becomes bigger. You exhale once more and it becomes still bigger, and so on. It expands and expands and expands.
Шире, шире, становится все шире.
And so you need to know how prana tube works.
Понять, как
You expand yourself in different directions.
в раз-
You get a little of energy.
себе.
Further, I will tell you a bit how to use prana tube in a more elaborate way.
Вот, так вот, вы должны, как пользоваться трубкой праны более сложно, я расскажу немножко дальше.
But with this simple one,
Таким
you can inhale into yourself, into your heart space of Anahata, into prana tube, this energy
пространство, она
from above and from below.
трубку прана, вот эту энергию, просто вдох, вот так вот, да, вдыхать.
And when you inhale, you can remember the sensations you had during fire energy receiving. You can remember these sensations, how you take fire and inhale it.
Можете
And when you exhale into the ball with which you feed your demon.
в тот шарик, выдох, да, выдох делайте в тот шарик, где вы кормите вашего демона.
Into the armchair or wherever.
Там еще
So you inhale and then exhale, and this ball flies out. Imagine how this ball flies out when you exhale.
прямо из себя, и у вас летит шарик.
And the more you inhale, the bigger your energy ball is,
У вас
which you exhale.
получается такой,
You can make this ball bigger, bigger and bigger.
вдыхаете, да, то есть вот так, и вот прям его прям шарик, 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 его все больше, больше, больше делаете.
This is one way by which you can set yourself up for a direct connection with fire energy.
Именно канал, именно на прямую связь с энергией огня.
And there is also another way.
Он
It is a very valid way.
действенный.
You can use the one you like more. We have already learned about the home of the soul.
Духовный дух,
Each soul has its spiritual home.
духовный дом.
You can understand where the home of your soul is.
Просто понять,
If you don't understand where it is, you will definitely learn it one day.
можно вообще,
It will come to you naturally anyway. You can do without this method.
все равно придет. Сама к вам придет.
You can close your eyes, imagine your spiritual home and take energy from there, from the home of your soul. So you breathe in from your spiritual home and you breathe out into this ball.
На выдохе
You breathe in and then breathe out into this ball.
вот сюда, вот
And here is the place of feeding of the essences.
вдыхаете, да? И вот тут вот это вот место как раз кормления сущности.
You should just feed your essences with these balls that you exhale. You inhale the energy and exhale it from anahata, like this. This is what concerns feeding and acquaintance.
То есть это то, что касается кормления и знакомства.
And now the most important aspect. You should understand that the essence is suspicious about you too, like I said before, like you are suspicious towards it. So you should make the first step, because you are a reasonable person and it is you who should make the first step. Apart from these balls, you should give the essence your love. Just imagine it in the place where you have thrown a ball. So you throw a ball and imagine love there as well. And you need to say different pleasant words. Say to the essence that it is nice and beautiful and things like these. It is like when we say nice and kind words to a person. Each person is like a flower. When we water it, it blooms. And here is the same thing. You need to give your essence a lot of compliments, good words, love. And you know, you will be surprised how your thoughts will change in almost no time, in a few days, maybe even one day. You should just understand that as soon as you start communicating with essences, as soon as you start understanding and classifying them, we will talk about it further. As soon as you start telling them apart, you will start to understand the nature of your own thoughts, and you will be able to tell which thoughts are your own and which thoughts have been always imposed on you by your essence. And once your essences are fed, you will always see yourself from a different angle. You will see a different you. You will see a different person. The structure of your thoughts will change.
Увидите себя в другом ракурсе. Вы себя увидите другого. Вы увидите другого человека. У вас изменится резко структура ваших мыслей.
A great number of deep-lying questions that you had in mind, that were pulsating in your head like huge question marks, will be answered. With the help of fire, with the help of consciousness raising, nobody will put you in frames as before. The essences have always possessed your mind, your consciousness, because the only method they can use is to give you their own thoughts and watch how you react. This is how they get this energy. This is what we were talking about, that in negative coordinate system there is a rule of tit for tat. Why? Because there isn't much energy, and they fight for this energy. They cannot get enough of it. And suddenly, here you come and start feeding the essence with love, caring, energy, and you do it free of charge. This is why you will see very vividly and very soon what will be going on with your essence, because it will start changing, and you will see how you change yourself, because the structure of your mind will change. You should also understand that if you have chosen to feed only one essence and have forgotten others, maybe you didn't notice them, there may be a conflict. How does it happen? You will feel it on physical level as pressure in your head. It is like somebody has put a ring around your head and clenches it tighter and tighter.
просто такие тиски, короче, в голове будут.
You need to understand that if you feel this ring around your head, or maybe your heart aches a little, or if you feel some other physical discomfort, it means that one of your essences was left unfed.
С телом, дискомфорт с телом. Все. Это значит, ваша сущность какая-то осталась голодная.
Maybe you have fed one essence and you haven't fed the other one. Therefore, you need to get acquainted with the whole bunch of these balloons at once, with all your essences.
Со всем пучком воздушных шаров.
As soon as you get acquainted with all of them, then you start a romance with them. You don't have this ring around your head anymore. Your heart doesn't ache.
Давление в
You feel comfortable on physical level.
сердце, ничего у вас там не происходит, да? То есть вы должны тоже это понимать.
We are going to talk about essences in detail a bit later.
Подробно о
And for now, you already have three main methods which you need to use and with the help of which
главной,
you will feel fire energy
которыми нужно
clearly and distinctively.
как вы будете четко и ярко чувствовать энергию огня.
The first is phantom hugs. You need to do it every day, both with the living and the deceased. It is very important. With the living and with the deceased.
И с теми, со всеми.
The second is the expansion of the list of the deceased, so that it grew as long as possible. And the third is the feeding of your essences. All of them need to be loved, taken care of and comforted, and fed until they are full.
И накормить
And when all your essences are full fed with love, they will stop terrorizing you.
любовью, они перестанут вас терроризировать
And the world around you will play out with fresh colors,
красками.
because there will be no fear in this world where your essences are well fed and satisfied.
Ваши, которые уже
You know what the essence looks like when it starts to transform. It looks very funny,
выглядит
because it looks like it has chickenpox.
ну, как вам сказать,
On a dark, very dark matter, there start to appear white spots.
у него витрина,
Little white spots at first, and then bigger and bigger.
пятнышки,
It becomes spotty, and it looks very funny.
выглядит.
You can watch it yourself. This is what I wanted to tell you about.
Вот. Ну, вот как-то так. Вот это я хотела вам рассказать.
In the further videos, we will study important things like recommendations what to do after fire energy receiving, and we will talk a bit about different sensations
После
in the next video.
огня. Вот. Ну и различные ощущения тоже. Мы там чуть-чуть разберем в следующем видео.
That's all for now. As usual, if you want to take part in the building of the new world of love, you can support us through the links underneath the video.
То можно отправить нам некую поддержку. Тут, внизу под видео там есть ссылки.
Fire to all of you.
Огня вам всем!